39-year-old Julio Escobar, a tour guide from Armenia village, drowned on Christmas Eve in the Caves Branch River after he and several other tour guides had ended their individual tours and met at the river to bring their tours back in. Escobar and another tour guide had led a group of about 6 tourists out on their expedition, but when their group returned to the river mouth where they were to make their last leg back, they discovered that the river had swollen to over 5 feet and was rapidly rising still. It had apparently rained up in the mountains and the water was gushing down river by that time. The group had with them floating tubes and helmets, and from reports that we got off camera, 2 of Escobar's fellow guides encouraged him to grab his floating device, which was right beside him in the water, but he never reached for it and reportedly continued to swim for the riverbank on his own. He never made it. The Belize Police Department's Communications Director, Assistant Superintendent Fitzroy Yearwood, shared what they had gathered on the incident.
Upon speaking to the proprietor of a resort, information was passed to them that about 11:30 a.m., Julio Escobar, along with 2 other tour guides and some guests, were in that area, somewhere upstream in the river, that began to rise rapidly.
Escobar's fellow tour guides tried to steer him to a shallow part of the river, but things went from bad to worse at that point.
The tour guides attempted to move towards a more shallow area that they believed they could have crossed the river, but Escobar disappeared. He was flown out of his, flung from his tube, where he disappeared in the water.
Caves Branch contracted Astrom helicopter services and quickly put together a search party to try to find Escobar. And after about 2 hours, his body was recovered not far from where he had disappeared. Escobar's wife and son were all too distraught to talk to us. His boss, Ian Anderson, said he'd prefer to talk after the funeral. Oscar Carbajal, a fellow tour guide at the ATM Caves, who knew Escobar, expressed sorrow at his passing.
I knew the guy, not as a good friend, but I knew him. And so it's an unfortunate situation, but, it can happen. And we lost one of our comrades, and condolences to the family. I mean, it can happen.
Yeah, but you guys should be prepared for any scenario because you know how the rivers can rise very quickly.
Yes. So that's you have to come out here prepared. And if you're not prepared, then sometimes bad things can happen, no? But you have to be prepared. Gears, equipment, vests, everything.
Escobar will be laid to rest on Wednesday. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.